Well, पहले तो नौकरी नहीं है, ऊपर से आरक्षण की चिंता. Well, reservations. Niranjan Hiranandani, thank you for joining this broadcast. And some good news, urban centers, digitization of records, possibly giving a fillip to the sector that you come from. How do you see this budget?
I think we are very delighted that the PMAY scheme is now talking about 3 crore houses in the affordable segment and interest subvention of more than 1 lakh crores in the next 5 to 7 years. I think that's a big statement. Number 2, I think the issue of the multiplier effect of that with urban infrastructure and metro cities having infrastructure, I think that's a big statement. Skilling is very important in our sector, Navika, because we find we are just not getting skilled labor at all. Our growth is there, but we are finding it very difficult to get skilled labor. That's a very big shortage. I think that being addressed is extremely important. Also, the fact that a statement is made to reduce the cost of government. Stamp duty and other charges by the state governments and others are sought, and especially for women, to be given a concession for stamp duty is, I think, a very important factor, which is really going to happen. Digitization and GIS mapping of all revenue records is important. Title deeds otherwise are a question mark, and litigation in all areas in the country have really taken over many of the courts, which is really doing. Also, the fact that the rental housing is first time come. We have been demanding this for the last 10 years. They've only limited it to industrial rental housing, which is, I think, a limitation which should not have been there. There's a lot of other rental housing that could be done in the private sector for education, for other people in services which are there, not necessarily only for industrial workers. I think this should be kept little broad-based and other things could come up. I think all in all, very positive. My view is the GDP growth, if focused on housing, urban infrastructure, textiles and tourism, will help greatly employment in the country, and your GDP can touch 10% within a year, year and a half. That's the GDP growth could touch that percentage. Of course, a lot of positive is there. We'll have to read the details of the lines in order to understand how these schemes will be operational.
And the devil is always in the details. Let's listen in to Shashi Tharoor of the Congress Party, Member of Parliament in the Lok Sabha from Thiruvananthapuram, and his first reactions, and I hope he says this in simple English.
Mention of any steps taken to improve the income of the ordinary person. We have seen far too little from the government when it comes to taking care of the severe income disparities in this country. Job creation, there was a token gesture made towards that, but unfortunately very short on specifics. And I personally welcome only one provision, which is this abolition of the tax on angel investors. I myself had recommended it to Shri Arun Jaitley more than 5 years ago. Finally, it has happened. I'm glad that's being done. We must have more investment coming in to generate more jobs. But otherwise, I find very little in terms of any good creative ideas when it comes to generating more jobs in our economy and more opportunities for young people and for those at the bottom of the pyramid to improve their incomes. We will have to study the budget in much more detail, but I would say it's an underwhelming budget.
Sir, how do you see